What's going on YouTube? Welcome to Learn to Produce. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you guys how to get started in FL Studio, especially for the amateurs. I've been seeing a lot of questions across social media and I've answered a few questions, but people come back to me with a bunch of questions. So I said, why not share them with the masses? Make sure you subscribe, make sure you comment, because I'm going to be teaching you everything from production to engineering, how to mix vocals, and not just in FL Studio, but it's going to be in Adobe Audition, it's going to be in Pro Tools, it's going to be in Reason, just whatever, just providing product reviews, where to get free VSTIs, how to install the VSTIs and stuff like that. So make sure you subscribe, make sure you comment, make sure you share the page with anyone who wants to know. A lot of this stuff isn't in the book. This is just years and years and years of me learning this stuff. I've been doing production and engineering for a long time. I've engineered so many albums and stuff like that. So again, this is not stuff that's in the book, especially hip hop. You'll never find a lot of these hip hop tools in the book. A lot of producers won't even tell you their tips, how they got this sound, because it's their custom sound with their custom touch. So anyway, this is going to be a basic. Later on, if you need for me to explain a lot of the other stuff and give you the information, I know some people just like to jump right into this tutorial. They don't want to hear a lot of talking. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you how I get started, so maybe you can follow along instead of giving you step by step. And over time, you'll start to understand and you'll be able to put together this technique and that technique. So this is the layout. This is a pattern. What a pattern is just a loop. That's all it is. You have the opportunity to, I should have said, you have the capability to extend the pattern, and that makes the loop longer. So you have your patterns, pattern 2, 3, 4, 5 goes up pretty high, and then you have your song. You have your song option. See how this is orange and this is green? The song is going to play all of the patterns, and the pattern is just going to play the pattern. Different people start off different ways, and I'm going to get started. Some people start off with the actual instrument. I start off with my hi-hats. So what I'm going to do is set my tempo. You may want a fast beat. Fast beat, you do 190, something like that. Slow beat, you do maybe 180. Just in between, I do like 140. But eventually, you'll see what your tempos are and how you use your instruments. Because it's a slow tempo, it doesn't mean the beat is actually going to sound slow, because hi-hats and fast sounding instruments drive beats. So what I'm going to do right now is just right click, and we're going to do fill each 4 steps. You want to make sure you quantize, and what quantize does, actually you don't need to quantize, because right now we're just pasting everything. But just make sure this is at 1/2 of a beat. Click here and make sure this is at 1/4 of a step. And that's going to put things on for what we want to do with them right now. So again, right click, fill each 4 steps. What I do is left click on this, select 1, because this is going to be on my mixer channel. You see, this is pattern 1. I try to keep everything consistent, so I'm going to put pattern 1 on this mixer channel. What I'm going to do is add an effect. You see, sorry about that. Come on. Okay, what I'm going to do is add an effect. You see, you have an option to add multiple effects to this. I'm going to use the parametric EQ, and if you listen to this hi-hat, what you're going to hear me do is add some sharpness, and I'm just going to take some of the harshness out to make it a bit lighter, a bit softer. Because the thing is, you don't want your hi-hat sounding like a kick or sounding like a snare or interfering with any of that stuff. And this stuff is almost like cooking food to me, in my opinion. So you're going to click here, and what you're going to do is you're going to use your paintbrush to paint that pattern a few times. come up here if it's not on the edge here. So click song mode. That way you can hear the whole pattern play out. You hear that? So the next thing we're going to do is go to pattern 2. You want to stretch this out a bit so you can have a little bit of variation. And what I usually do is paste pattern 2 because we're going to go with the snares in this case. And you just listen carefully. You can either, just listen carefully. Pat, boom, boom, pat. I mean, boom, boom, pat, boom, boom, pat, boom, 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 boom. Now what I do with this is, again, this is pattern 2. You're going to put it on channel 2 or insert 2. And what I do is I sharpen this using the parametric EQ. I close that a little bit. And for this one, I may want to do a fruity free filter. And I'll let you hear it. Here's how it sounds without the fruity free filter. Fruity. It's a tongue twister. Fruity free filter. And I'm going to add a little bit of reverb. Make sure you don't put too much reverb because it's going to sound too wide. So I'll just put light reverb on it. So it has a little snap to it, not too much. And the next thing I'm going to do is add my kicks. So again, I'm going to paint that pattern. Always remember these steps. Paint the pattern. Now I'm going to I think that kick is a bit harsh. So what I'm going to do is come to kick. I'm going to click on the kick. Make sure you click on INS if it's not already there. And just bring this to about in between these two lines. I think you see this red line here. Bring it in between the two gray lines. You probably can't see on my computer, but that's where you want it. So that softens it up a bit. What I usually do is bring my hi-hats down because, again, you don't want it to interfere. That's part of the mixing. You want everything to sit. So when the musician raps over it, sings over it, whatever the case may be, you want the vocals to sit pretty nicely inside of your beat, inside of the mix. And one last thing, I'm going to try to keep this under 10 minutes. I don't want it to last too long because I want to, again, keep the tutorials coming. And this is just to show you the basics. Later on, I'm just going to explain so much stuff. I have tons of information. Trust me. Tons of tips. Just tons and tons of stuff that I have to give out. And all you guys got to do is just click the subscribe button. It's very simple. So I just selected a random piano. A lot of times it doesn't make a huge difference. You can select different sounds and you tweak them so much that it's not going to make a big difference. Like if you take this piano or this piano, the way you're going to tweak it, it's going to be very similar. You can't tell if it was an expensive piano or if it was something out of FL Studio sometimes if you tweak it right. So this is a broken piano. What I'm going to do is right click and then left click. So right click to bring up this option, left click to bring up the piano roll. What the piano roll does is allow me to insert notes. Insert sounds beside the notes as opposed to using the MIDI controller. I'm trying to do this tutorial with all the things that you have and just the stock sounds for the most part. I'm not going to use a MIDI controller for right now. I would highly suggest that though. So just try to paste a few notes so it'll make sense. I'm just going to start up here somewhere. And I'm going to come across here, start at the same spot from there. See that? You can left click and drag these up and down. So I'm going to maybe come here again, but I'm going to switch these two up. So let's see what that sounds like. So again, remember to paste this. Right click to delete that. So I'm gonna Control A, left click, drag it, maybe put it on the higher note, see what it sounds like. All right, now what I'm gonna do is left click on this. This is gonna be number 5. Go to this insert, and I'm just going to add a free filter to it. So that's it. That's the tutorial for today. And I really appreciate you guys. Click subscribe, comment. Until the next time, you guys take care. Keep practicing on these techniques. Trust me, you're going to be the best out there. I promise you.